This is Dr. Karmen Smith, spiritual teacher and author of the book, The I Am Solution. And I'm also a mental health therapist. One of the things I'd like to share with you is that when we experience depression, anxiety, a lot of anger, this has to do with some of the beliefs, some of the perceptions that we have had, that we carry around with us. And when those perceptions can no longer help us or serve us, and we used to use them to cope with the world, when that no longer serves us, it can bring out emotions that are self-destructive. And self-destructive would be depression, anger, our relationships begin to fail, we begin to have problems at work, and we begin to have problems being in our own skin. We begin to have problems the way we cope and the way that we see the world and perceive the world. And so all the reality that's coming in is being filtered through this anger, fear, resentment. And so life begins to be unbearable because it was never meant to be filled with those emotions. So there needs to be a severe perception change in order to change this paradigm. In other words, you have to begin to see the world differently, maybe even more differently than you did for years. So that is why it can be so difficult for people to change, because they carry around with them all of these things that they've always had. So they don't even know that there's another way of seeing the world or seeing different people or seeing different situations. When we become healthy ourselves, we become a beacon of light. We become an example of wholeness. We become an example of health. We become an example of viewing the world that may be different. And so when we get healthy, when we begin to see life differently and life begins to change and we begin to experience the world in magnificent ways and begin to experience ourselves in a magical way that is not filled with depression and fear and anger, we become like a lighthouse for other people. And it's not that we lecture them, it's just that we can share the way we perceive world. Life is really great, and it's because of the way my perception has shifted over the years that I can see it as just a loving experience. It's also how I see myself, and that's why I can see the world the same way. So this is Dr. Karmen Smith, and my intention is to bring the planet up to a higher consciousness, which is vibrating with love. Love you.